crazy as DCW returns to Raleigh for Bussin' Loose. On September 13th, experience an electrifying night with all your favorite DCW stars in action at the DCW ASYLUM. Don't miss this unforgettable event as we witness who will bust loose in this epic showdown. Tickets are selling like hotcakes. Grab yours now at DominantChampionshipWrestling.com.
DCW fans, CG Craig Green along with Sean Sinclair and Dominant Championship Wrestling is bussin' loose this Saturday night, September 13th at the DCW ASYLUM in Raleigh on Gulf Court. 7 big matches for you on the card that evening. First of which, we're going to see a debut in Dominant Championship Wrestling. The South Star, Keely Capri, will make her debut in the ASYLUM, and she's going to take on the Glamour Boy, Kano Kelly. Kano Kelly, Sean, coming off of a huge win at Fight for Glory 3.
Not just a huge win on Fight for Glory 3, but a huge winning streak just in general here at DCW. And if there's anything I know about Kano Kelly, is that intergender matches are actually his specialty. And look, I'm just gonna let you know right now, it doesn't matter if you're 300 pounds. It doesn't matter if you're 100 pounds. It doesn't matter if you're a man. It doesn't matter if you're a woman. What matters is that when he hits you with that blockbuster, it is over. One of the biggest mistakes that Capri could make coming into DCW is trying to out-glamour the Glamour Boy, out-sexy the Glamour Boy, or out-flash the Glamour Boy. Or he might just bust out that crossface that he pulled out in Fight for Glory 3, or who knows what else is in his bag of tricks.
Connie is on a long winning streak, and we'll see if he can continue those winning ways at Bussin' Loose. Also coming up on September 13th at the DCW ASYLUM, Aaron Biggs, the Game Changer, the Enforcer of the Purge, makes his return to the DCW ASYLUM, and he's going to take on the belligerent heavyweight Duke O'Connor in a massive matchup. Duke O'Connor north of 300 pounds, Aaron Biggs just under 400 pounds. We're looking at 700 pounds of meat in that ring this Saturday night, and both men looking to make their mark and continue their ascent up the ranks of DCW. Sean, when it comes to Duke O'Connor, he's on a track to stay in that heavyweight title contention.
Yeah, I would agree. He has been in numerous number one contendership positions. The last time we saw him in the number one contender position was when he was in a triple threat match against Zuka King and Bojack that allowed Bojack to pick up the win and become the new DCW World Heavyweight Championship. But he needs to be careful because Aaron Briggs is also no stranger to dealing with a big man. Though, like you said, the last time we saw him was when he was in a matchup at Spin the Block against Cowboy Willie Watts when he was defending the honor of his mentor Nemesis. And we're talking concrete, weapons, blood, like they went all out. But Aaron Biggs was the one who ended up on top. And look, if Duke O'Connor's not careful, he could be next.
Both of those men coming off of the biggest wins in their DCW careers, without a doubt. Also, Alan Angels will be coming to Dominant Championship Wrestling. TNA star Alan Angels will be here in Raleigh, and he's going to take on another debuting star, JAC, a competitor who has been winning regional titles all over the Southeast.
That's right. I mean, look, Craig, this is one of those ones where, like, it could be any man's game as far as I'm concerned. Here we have Alan Angels, known to be an AEW, known for TNA, known for some of his indie work. This is a man who has been there, done that in the professional industry. He brings a lot of experience to the table. However, that doesn't discount JAC. JAC is well known across the Southeast on the indie circuit. This is taking the professional realm and the indie realm and putting them head to head. Who knows what's going to happen in this matchup?
An explosive matchup also coming on Saturday night, September 13th at the DCW ASYLUM. A number one contender scramble match for the number one contendership for the Carolina Prestige Championship. In that match, the Hollywood sexy boy John Jimmy, Xavier Stokes, Tenshi X, Sawyer Stimmel, and the new dynamic of La Clica, who's in this matchup. Again, you've got 6 competitors, every man for himself. You're going to start with 2 competitors. You're going to add a new wrestler every couple of minutes until all 6 are in the ring at one time. And plenty of different angles we can look at here, Sean, when it comes to the Carolina Prestige Championship and this particular matchup. Only La Clica is coming off of a win in their last appearance. They have the numbers advantage, and they also have the momentum advantage. When you're looking at Tenshi X, he's coming off of a loss to Xavier Stokes in his last appearance. John Jimmy also in a tag title matchup against Pure Temptation did not come away with the win, and Sawyer Stimmel also losing the Thrax at Fight for Glory. So does this matchup play into the hands of La Clica?
You know, Craig, I'm actually going to agree to disagree in some senses, but I have to point out that, look, there's only one individual that can become the #1 contender for the DCW Prestige title. And if a matchup comes down to 2 members of La Clica, if it's Salvaje and Okami facing each other at the end of this match, one of them is going to have to take the pinfall. Are they going to cooperate? Will they not cooperate? Who knows? Maybe they're the first 2 to enter the matchup. Maybe they just sit out there and wait out the 3rd individual to come out. We don't know. Either way, this could spell trouble for La Clica in this matchup. But let's not discount everyone else in this matchup just because they're coming off of a loss. Because remember, Xavier Stokes isn't coming off of a loss. He's coming off of a no contest matchup against the DCW Prestige Champion Tim himself. Right? So he did not lose that matchup. In fact, if you remember correctly, he was about to win that matchup potentially until Tim suffered an unknown eye injury. But look, it could be John Jimmy. It could be Xavier Stokes. It could be Tenshi X. Maybe this is the chance for him to redeem himself. Maybe, in a big upset, it could be Sawyer Stimmel. We have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm super excited to find out. We are, either way, no matter how this ends, we are going to have a new #1 contender for the DCW Prestige title.
Another huge matchup coming up this Saturday night at Bussin' Loose will be Pure Temptation, the DCW Tag Team Champions. They are issuing an open challenge, and that open challenge has been approved by General Manager Michael Devine. We don't know who's going to step up and face the tag team champions. We've seen them defend the titles 5 times already against the Allen brothers, against the Radical City Kings, also against John Jimmy and Manny Lowe. So again, we don't know who could step up and take this challenge. It could be anyone from in or out of DCW. We even heard Dynamite Jackson mention the names of FTR. Could FTR show up here?
Well, I think it's very, very possible. I mean, if you're no stranger to DCW, you know that we have had AEW stars, we've had TNA stars, we've had everyone across the indie scene, we've had former WWE stars come through DCW for a shot at some of our championships or just a shot at some of our talent. It's almost like they're trying to prove themselves against us. Either way, we could see an AEW tag team, we could see a TNA tag team, we could see an indie tag team, we could see a WWE tag team, or we could see single stars taking a crack at the DCW tag team titles. This is a prestigious title here in the Carolinas. Everyone wants a crack at it, and I do think we will see some amazing talent take a crack at it. But if there's anything I do know, is that Pure Temptation is proven they're up to any challenge, no matter where it's coming from.
Absolutely correct. I mean, could it be the Radical City Kings again? Could it be John Jimmy and Manny Lowe one more time? Could it be the Great Revolution? Could it even be members of the Purge who team up and take on Pure Temptation? Could it be a brand new tag team outside of the DCW walls? One thing is for certain, either Pure Temptation will hold those titles and inch closer to a year, or we will see new champions this Saturday night. Speaking of champions, or former champions, that is, Sean Sinclair, returning to Dominant Championship Wrestling at Bussin' Loose on September 13th, the former and inaugural DCW heavyweight champion, that is Zuka King. He will be back in action on September 13th at the DCW Asylum alongside the dastardly Nick D.
That's right, the last time we really saw Zuka King in action was when he lost the DCW heavyweight championship to Bojack at Claim the Throne, not just a few months ago in a triple threat match against Duke O'Connor and Bojack. You know, even with Nick D's interference. So we do know that Zuka King might not be on his A game, but who knows? Maybe he'll have the numbers advantage. Maybe he'll have someone on the sidelines for him. We don't really know. Or perhaps he could have a complete turn of face. He might turn his back on Nick D. He might show that he is able to be a DCW Heavyweight Championship contender yet again. All we know is we have to wait and see. And the only way to see is on September 13th. Coming up soon. Here.
Zuka King wants his rematch, and it all starts at Bussin' Loose. He's going to have to get a win to put his name in the hat to get that title match. Our main event, Saturday night, September 13th at the DCW Asylum for Bussin' Loose. The Carolina Prestige Championship will be on the line. The Infinite Man Tim, who has had two controversial title defenses in his last two outings, will defend the title this time against the WWE Evolve champion Jackson Drake, who will take on the Infinite Man, looking for a taste of DCW gold. And Sean, so many questions surrounding the Infinite Man Tim, especially after what happened at Fight for Glory 3.
Yeah, Craig, you're really right to mention that. I'm not sure if I would use the word controversial, but it sure does raise a lot of questions. The last time we saw Tim defend a championship was a timeout with Damian Jackson, all pure temptation. The next time was the no contest matchup after the eye injury with Xavier Stokes. Now, look, I'm going to be real with you here, Craig, for a moment. I have some personal feelings about this. I'm not sure why Jackson Drake is getting the opportunity to go for this title. Look, no discount for Jackson Drake and all his accomplishments. He's clearly an extremely talented individual. However, he did lose his last matchup at DCW against Duke O'Connor. I'm not sure why he is the one who's been given an opportunity to face up against Tim for the DCW Prestige title. If anything, it should be Xavier Stokes getting a formal rematch. If Tim is medically cleared to have a match, why shouldn't Xavier Stokes get an opportunity at that gold? Why is he being put up against 5 other individuals when the odds are stacked against him to take what I think is rightfully his? A shot at the DCW Prestige title. But now it could be anybody's game. They could be going against Tim for the title. They could be going against Jackson Drake. We don't know. But either way, that's my personal feelings. I think we'd like to see Xavier get another shot at this title.
It's going to take everything that Xavier Stokes has to win that 6-way scramble match to put himself in contention again for that Carolina Prestige title. If you remember, I know you remember, you and I were sitting ringside. We saw Xavier Stokes on the top rope about to hit the Spirit Stomp. He hit the Finito on Tim, and then Tim had the unfortunate injury there. 2 days later, we see a video from Tim, and he appears to be just fine. So again, very confusing messages from the Carolina Prestige champion. Does the rest of DCW, does the field have his number? Again, a time limit draw and a no contest in his last 2 defenses. Tim, I think, needs a decisive victory to silence the haters.
Yeah, well, look, and I don't want anyone out there to think that we're casting any kind of doubts on Tim's injury or his ability. We don't know much about the eye injury. We're not assuming he faked it. We're not assuming it wasn't legitimate. For all we know, it was one of those things where it feels extremely serious in the moment, and then maybe it ends up not being as bad once he has time to recover. We don't want to cast any of those kinds of doubts, but there are a lot of questions as to the veracity of that injury.
It's hard to know. Only Tim really knows, and I guess if there's any residual effect from that injury, maybe we'll find out Saturday night. But one thing we will see this Saturday night is a lot of action, hard-hitting, dominant championship wrestling, only the way DCW can do it. You can be a part of the action live and in person at the DCW Asylum, 8804 Gulf Court in Raleigh. You can be there and use the promo code BUSSIN, BUSSIN. You can get 10% off of tickets. If you don't get that, you can buy them at the door as well. Make sure you keep your eyes on Dominant Championship Wrestling's social media for more updates on the card, and also you can look at dominantchampionshipwrestling.com for more updates on everything happening in DCW. For Sean Sinclair, I'm CG. We will see you at Bussin' Loose.
When the girls outside look this, you better be ready. When the girls outside look this, you better be ready. When the stars align, this, you better be ready. I won't take my time with this, you know already. I'm winning right now with this.